You're lying in bed, the house is quiet, and the lights are low. But as you try to drift off, your mind starts to wander. You find yourself trying to recall the name of a neighbor you saw earlier, or mentally retracing your steps to remember where you left your glasses. Sometimes these small moments feel heavier at night. You might wonder if your memory isn't what it used to be, or notice that your eyes feel tired after a long day. It's a common experience to feel a quiet concern about these changes as the years pass. If you've ever felt that flicker of anxiety about your brain health while trying to fall asleep, you aren't alone. It's natural to want to protect your independence and keep your mind as sharp as possible. There's a lot of information out there promising quick fixes, specific juices or supplements that claim to restore vision or improve memory overnight. While the idea of a simple solution is comforting, the reality of how the brain and nervous system actually function is more interesting and more within your reach than any single recipe. What your nervous system is actually doing. To understand why memory and mental clarity can feel different from day to day, we need to look at how the body shifts gears as evening approaches. Your body operates on a biological rhythm that influences everything from how well you focus to how your eyes recover from a full day of light and activity. During the day, you tend to be in what we might call an alert mode. This state helps you navigate the world, solve problems, and stay aware of your surroundings. As the day winds down, the body is designed to transition into recovery mode. This is the state where the brain begins to process and organize the events of the day, and where the eyes rest from constant visual input. It is an active process, not simply the absence of waking, and it depends on the nervous system having enough time and calm to make that shift before sleep begins. When health concerns occupy the mind in the evening, the nervous system may interpret that mental activity as a signal to remain in alert mode. Not because something is wrong with you, but because the nervous system is doing its job, monitoring, staying ready, trying to keep you safe. The difficulty is that this protective alertness, when it persists through the night, can interfere with the very processes that support memory and clarity. Here is where the pattern becomes important to see clearly. A person notices a memory lapse. Perhaps a word took longer than expected to surface, or an appointment slipped by unnoticed. A small concern forms. That concern generates mental activity in the evening. The nervous system stays slightly elevated. Sleep becomes lighter and less restorative. Think of memory consolidation during sleep like a bookshelf being carefully organized overnight. When sleep is fragmented, it's less like a neat filing system and more like a pile of books left on the floor, not lost, but harder to find in the morning. The next day, mental clarity feels slightly reduced. Attention takes a little longer to settle, and the original concern grows. This loop does not require anything to be medically wrong. It can form and sustain itself through the ordinary interaction of stress, disrupted sleep, and the way the mind interprets its own performance. When we notice more lapses, we look harder for them. When we look harder, we find more. And the nervous system responds, not to what is actually happening, but to the story we're telling about it. When the story is something is wrong, the alert mode holds. When the story shifts toward this is a common human experience and my nervous system is adapting, something in the body begins to release, just slightly, toward recovery. This is a meaningful realization. The way you feel about your memory is often a reflection of how safe your nervous system feels, not a direct measurement of how your memory is functioning. So what about those bedtime juices? Staying well hydrated and getting consistent nutrition, including nutrients like vitamin A, vitamin C, and omega-3 fatty acids, supports long-term health in genuine ways. That part is real. But there is no liquid that can bypass the biological need for a regulated nervous system. No drink reorganizes the brain's filing system if the nervous system spent the night on alert. What those evening rituals sometimes do accomplish is something subtler and actually more interesting. A predictable, calming routine, whether it involves a warm drink, a short walk, or a few quiet minutes before bed, sends a signal to the nervous system that the day is over, that it is safe to downshift. The value is in the ritual and the consistency, not the specific ingredient. That is not a smaller thing. It is actually the mechanism that matters. Regulating the nervous system is not about fixing something broken. It's about creating an environment where the brain can do what it is already designed to do. Think of the nervous system like a large ship. It cannot turn quickly. It needs a long, slow arc to change direction. Expecting it to turn from full alertness to deep recovery the moment you lie down is asking for a turn it simply cannot make that fast. Gradual downshifting begins well before sleep. Dimming lights in the hour before bed helps the eyes transition and supports the body's natural preparation for rest. Writing down worries or unfinished thoughts in a journal moves them from active mental circulation onto the page, signaling to the brain that problem-solving can wait until morning. Quieter sensory environments, reduced screen time, and gentle rather than stimulating activities all contribute to that slow arc. None of these changes produce an overnight transformation. That is not a flaw in the approach, it's simply how the nervous system works. Regulation builds gradually through consistent signals repeated over time, until the body begins to recognize the pattern and anticipate what comes next. Some people find that supportive tools can help build this environment, things that assist with light adjustment, sleep rhythm awareness, or structured breathing. These are not cures, they are supports for the conditions around sleep, and the work of regulation is still the nervous system's own, happening at its own pace. It's worth naming something that often goes unspoken. Older adults tend to carry more health awareness than younger people, more accumulated knowledge about what the body does over time, more attention to symptoms that a younger person might dismiss. That awareness is not a problem, it's often a form of genuine care and self-knowledge. But awareness, when it sharpens into constant self-monitoring, can become its own source of pressure. The mind begins to watch itself closely, looking for confirmation of what it fears. And in that monitoring, the ordinary variation that is part of every human mind, a slower recall on a tired morning, a foggy moment after a poor night, can begin to feel like something larger than it is. This is not about dismissing real concerns. If changes feel sudden, significant, or outside of the range of what seems normal for you, speaking with a qualified health professional is a sensible and worthwhile step. That kind of support exists precisely for this reason, and seeking it is not a sign of alarm, it's a sign of good judgment. But for the common fluctuations that stress and sleep quality can produce in memory and clarity, understanding the mechanism behind them often does more than any quick intervention. When you can see the loop, you are no longer inside it without awareness. The brain consolidates memory during sleep. Sleep quality is shaped by the state of the nervous system in the hours before rest, and the nervous system's state is influenced by the concerns, sensations, and stories present in the evening. This is a connected system, and it responds, over time, to consistent and gradual input. A calmer evening environment gives the nervous system more time to shift toward recovery before sleep begins. More consistent recovery during sleep supports better memory consolidation through the night, and clearer recall the following day gives the mind less material to interpret as cause for worry. The loop can move in the other direction, slowly, with patient, repeated effort. Your nervous system has been working on your behalf for your entire life. The alertness you feel when concerns arise is not a malfunction, it's protection. The same mechanism that has kept you oriented and responsive through every difficulty you have faced. What it sometimes needs is not a fix, it's a signal. A calm, consistent signal, repeated across many evenings, that the environment is safe, that rest is available, and that it is time, gradually, to recover. That signal cannot be delivered in a single night or a single glass of anything, but it can be built quietly through the rhythms of ordinary life. And that is where most lasting change, when it comes, tends to begin.